This is Ecotricity's EcoTEC Roundup show from Aotearoa's first and only climate-positive certified renewable electricity provider. We only source from wind, hydro and solar, and we are the leading supplier of electricity to EVs in Aotearoa. Search today at ecotricity.co.nz. Welcome back to another roundup of news from the world of clean cars and green energy. Thanks for joining me. Believe it or not, Nissan's Leaf electric car is fast approaching its 15th birthday and is still the only EV sold outside of Japan with a CHAdeMO connector. We've known for some time that it's due to change when Nissan officially launches the next generation Leaf, and this week Nissan gave us the first sneak peek as to what that new vehicle will look like, publishing images of its next generation Leaf alongside some other of its future EV models. While this isn't an official reveal, Nissan was very explicit to tell us that that is coming later this year. It confirmed two things. The next generation Nissan Leaf will be a compact crossover, and it will also get NACS as standard in North America. Range-wise, Nissan says we can expect 373 miles, 600 kilometres per charge. And also unveiled at the event was a tease of the all-new Nissan Micra EV, which will launch next year primarily as a European model and be a Nissan badged variant of the already in production Renault 5. There's also a new Nissan Juke EV on the way. When it comes to the Leaf though, there's no word on pricing, but I think it would be a fair guess to assume it won't be quite as affordable as the current model, which I think should make all of us feel somewhat frustrated. Chinese automotive giant BYD has been snapping at the heels of a certain US electric automaker for some time now, and this week it showed that while it still lags slightly in EV sales, it's now ahead of Tesla in terms of revenue. Publishing its 2024 financials this week, the Chinese company claimed an operating revenue of 777 billion yuan, a 29% increase year over year. That's slightly higher than the money Tesla achieved in the same period, although I should note that BYD does still produce plug-in hybrids, battery packs and commercial vehicles, not to mention operate as a parts supplier to others in the industry. BYD's EV sales last year were just 30,000 less than Tesla, although Tesla's profit was higher than BYD's. Given the massive drop in Tesla sales this year, it is conceivable BYD could overtake Tesla by year's end. That said, it's also worth noting that BYD's ties to the PRC may prove as difficult on an ethical level as Tesla's ties to the attempted destruction of democracy in the US. While the Smart brand has certainly morphed from its cute city car origins to something else, the company is continuing to debut new models, and this week it launched the Smart No. 5 in Europe. A mid-size electric SUV, what isn't these days, the Smart No. 5 is built on the Geely PMA2 platform, a platform that it shares with the Zeekr 007, Zeekr 7X and Geely Galaxy E8. The entry-level Smart No. 5 comes with a 76 kWh LFP battery pack, while higher trim variants come with an 800-volt 100 kWh NCM pack, capable of up to 590 kilometres, 366 miles on the WLTP test cycle. Both all and rear-wheel drive variants will be offered, with European market pricing starting from around €46,000 and going up to €57,000. The order books will open in its launch market of Germany on April 24th. After continued threats of doing so, the President of the US has announced a 25% tariff on the sale of all new cars in the US that aren't made there. Another, frankly, idiotic and short-sighted move, which some people suggest is a screen to the Signalgate debacle. The President announced the tariffs during a live-streamed press briefing in which the White House attempted to suggest the tariffs would bring in billions of dollars to the US. But as I recently discovered when ordering discrete electronic components for a project, tariffs are inevitably being passed on to the customer. The 25% tariffs have already led to threats of retaliation from other countries, and it's worth noting that the tariffs will also impact cars that are made in the US but feature components made overseas. The White House and the Commerce Department say they plan on having a way to better differentiate US parts from non-US parts, but the reality here is that whatever car you're buying, the cost will inevitably go up, something even Tesla has admitted will impact impact them. And if you're watching this outside of the US, it's probably worth noting that it will undoubtedly impact you too, because when orangutans start throwing poo-poo, everyone gets covered. To happier news now, and the announcement from Mercedes-Benz that its e-Vito panel van can now be ordered with a larger 90 kWh battery pack. While the announcement appears to only affect European market customers at this time, the new variant will be available with either 85 or 150 kilowatt motor packages, the latter coming over from the passenger van e-Vito Tourer variant, as well as a choice of two different vehicle lengths, short or long wheelbase. It's worth noting that in Europe, panel vans are far more popular as work vehicles than pickup trucks, and these new additions to the lineup make the e-Vito a more practical choice for many. Mercedes-Benz says the new variants can be ordered from €46,000 and will offer up to 480 kilometres, just under 300 miles of range on the WLTP test cycle. There's no word on if the model will launch in other markets, but for those who are interested, the original 60 kilowatt-hour variants will be offered in Europe alongside these new, longer-legged versions. GMC has unveiled its 2026 variant of the GMC Sierra EV electric pickup truck, adding new trims and lowering the price point by $25,000. Adding a new entry-level trim called the Elevation, which is available in both standard and extended range variants, you'll be able to get behind the wheel from under $64,000, including mandatory fees. If you want an extended range, that will add another $8,000 to the price, but for those who want more ground clearance, there's also now an AT4 variant, which features 2 inches of additional ground clearance and all-wheel steer as standard from just over $81,000. Like its entry-level sibling, though, if you want features like 800-volt DC fast charging capability, onboard mains inverters, and mid-gates, you'll have to pay extra. The range-topping Denali with max range package still retails from over $100,000. Hyundai Motor Group has just celebrated the official opening of its Metaplant in Georgia, where it will manufacture EVs and hybrids for the North American market. Part of a $12.6 billion investment in the Peach Pit state, the Metaplant consists of 2 sections, one devoted to battery packs and one to vehicle assembly, and says the company has significantly increased jobs in the region. Now, if you are listening to this and going, wait, didn't the Metaplant start making cars last year? Well, you would be right. Back in October, the facility started making US-spec Hyundai Ioniq 5s at the facility, but this week marked the official opening of the factory and the official end to its planned construction. At the official opening event, Hyundai also confirmed its Ioniq 9 is now rolling off the production line too, and next year, the same facility will also be home to US-spec Kia EVs. BMW also announced its own milestone in new vehicle production this week, confirming on Thursday that its new production facility for EVs in Hungary is in the finishing straight of production preparations. While BMW hasn't made any production vehicles at the new facility yet, it says it's just finished and tested its full assembly process at the plant. While it's been quote-unquote making new class vehicles at the factory for a few months now, they've not been made on the finished production line, and now that line has been completed, BMW says it's ready to start testing everything from the full assembly process through to its supply chain integration, paint booths and more. What makes this particular facility interesting, though, is that BMW was able to accelerate its production readiness by utilising virtual modelling and testing to streamline the real-world production line without building it first. And because new class is so very different to current generation BMW EVs in its construction, the company says it needed a new production line that allowed these new features to optimise production flow and cut down on production time. We'll find out shortly if its plans bear the expected fruit. Here's a question for you. Which EV brand is undergoing the most growth in the US and Canada right now? You might think it's Hyundai or Kia, given their stellar sales in recent quarters, but according to JD Power, the answer is Chevrolet. In its latest report, the organisation says that the Chevrolet Equinox EV, which ended last year as the 8th best-selling EV of the US of the year, despite only launching in 2024, has proven incredibly popular among buyers. While it's nowhere near the volume sales of Tesla, which still has a sizable portion of the current EV marketplace, Chevrolet's growth in the EV market has seen it already outsell Ford, and if things continue as GM hopes, could see it quickly catch up to the politically hot potato that is Tesla. Add in the planned relaunch of the Chevrolet Bolt EV this year, and it could be very interesting this year for Chevrolet. Watch this space. And finally for the segment, we've been closely following Kiwi firm VassEV as it exited stealth and brought its electric hydrofoil boats to market. Earlier this year, the brand confirmed that its VS9 electric hydrofoil had completed all of the necessary certification for it to operate on a commercial ferry route operated by its first commercial customer, Fuller's 360, in Auckland, Aotearoa, New Zealand. And this week, the brand confirmed that it's expanded its operations outside of its home country for the first time. It's just opened a new office in the US state of Rhode Island. VassEV says it hopes to bring its VS9 and other models like it to the US and Canadian market in the near future. Given that the northeast of the US, not to mention large parts of Canada to the north, rely heavily on boats for everything from recreation to commuting, this new office should be very good for VassEV and place it in an ideal position in the burgeoning electric boat market. This is especially true since, unlike many of its competitors, it's not focused on high-ticket luxury boats, but ones that actually have to work hard for their living. Before we get to the last two stories, I have a quick question. Are you in the market for a new EV? If you are, and you live in Aotearoa, you should totally check out our very own buyer's guide at ecotricity.co.nz. It is packed with tons of information you need to pick a car that's right for you and includes plenty of details about available vehicles, daily life with an EV, how to file and pay those RUCs, and so much more. So follow the link below and start your journey today. And now it's time for those last two stories. On last week's show, I told you about BYD's just released 1 megawatt EV charging stations, along with its claim that its new next-generation battery and EV charging tech could make EVs as quick to fill up as a petrol car. Many of you commented on that video that megawatt charging was already in existence, and you'd be right, primarily in the trucking world, but this is the first time it's been commercialised in the electric car world. And commercialisation is the right word, because despite naysayers claiming it wasn't real, BYD says it will now start installing its next generation charging stations as early as next week. It says it will begin installing its 1 megawatt charging stations during April, and says plans for installing its first 4,000 ultra-fast charging stations are already being finalised. Granted, we won't see them everywhere because of the massive power demands, but I do wonder how long it's going to take the rest of the world to catch up. And finally, if we're going to talk about truly evolving our world to a place of cleaner, greener, safer, smarter and more equitable transportation, we frankly have to look beyond the personally owned car. And this week, that's exactly what the city of Paris has done, with the news that a proposal to turn 500 streets in the centre of the city into a no-car zone officially won support from voters. Once in place, the 10,000 parking spaces in roads that will be closed will be eliminated, and then residents will be given a chance to decide which of the car-free roads will be turned into pedestrian areas. Paris already has a substantial number of its streets designated car-free, and this is a total win for fans of local communities, walkable cities and equitable public transit. That said, I should note that while the measure had a 65% support among voters, only 4% of the 1.4 million registered voters in Paris actually bothered to take part in the election. And I would personally love to see the overwhelming majority of people voting and supporting this. So get involved in your local politics, folks. It matters. And it's a really important thing to be able to have your say. And on that slightly civics theme note, we're done for today's show. Before I go though, do make sure you've hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the latest in EV news from this channel. And of course, if you haven't, it's time to switch to Aotearoa's first and only climate positive certified renewable electricity provider. It's super easy to make the switch, and in doing so you'll help the nation wean itself off dirty energy and onto clean green power that will keep the land beautiful for generations to come. I'll be back next week, but in the meantime, do check out the lovely Gavin Kiwi-EV Shoebridge's offerings on this very same channel. He's been doing some great stuff, so it's always worth a look. And also, do make sure you've hit subscribe. Thanks for joining me. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield. Kia kite. See you next time.